think the arguments will be Jai Whitbread after he picked up a one-game ban. Are you confident that you're fine covering him?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously Jai's, he's been playing extremely well, and he's been an important part of what we've been doing. But, we're a squad, and we always talk about that. So someone else will get their opportunity, and we've had players, haven't played before because of injury and suspension, and players have come in and done the job, and I expect the same this week.
Do you think Jai's position is one that you've probably got the most strength in depth in?
In the prop position?
Yeah, just in terms of the number of high-quality props you've got in the squad at the moment.
Yeah, well, I mean, we try and we like to think that we've got, depth in most positions, in all positions, and then it's up to the individual to come in and do the job. Like Jai's, as I said, he's done an outstanding job for us, so no doubt he'll be missed. But as I said, it'll give someone else an opportunity who we're confident and we know that they'll do the job as well.
Do you have any qualms over either the yellow card or the suspension? Because I know you haven't had a chance to look at it when we talked to you after the game.
Oh, look, it's I won't go too much into it. I'd rather talk about sort of Leigh and our game ahead, but it's something that obviously the RFL need to look at. I think we did go away from suspensions, and I think it proved for a while they were just given penalties and putting it on, having a look at it later on, and it didn't. If you did get 10 minutes, it didn't always lead to a suspension, and then last couple of weeks it seems like we've gone back to that. So it's something that we need to look at it over here as a game, because you want the best players playing. Safety is always number one. We understand that as coaches. We understand that as a game. We understand that, but there's going to be accidents in rugby league, and then there's going to be foul play as well, and that's what we need to determine and look at. The RFL are the ones that'll set the standard with that, and the referees will just go off the back of that, as will the players. It's an RFL decision that needs to be made. But I think referees have got a pretty good understanding of the game, and over many years, even before the video ref was there, they would look at a tackle and go, "Yep, that's deemed as foul play," or it's just an accident in rugby league. Unfortunately, he's slipped up or ricocheted off someone else. In the instance that happened with Jai on the weekend, obviously then you got the Paul Vaughan situation, and there's a number of them at the moment that have been suspended for. I don't think it warrants a suspension as some of the others.
Given that you've now had a chance, there's a few days between now and that game, what are your thoughts on it a few days after?
Yeah, I thought, after watching it back, I thought live we were, exceptionally tough. We stayed in the fight for the whole game. Obviously, we put ourselves in a position to win, but I also looked at it, and the staff looked at it, and the coaches looked at it, and we identified there's some areas that we certainly need to improve, which is a really positive sign. We can't go under the levels that we're at in terms of intensity and in terms of the intent that we played that game. It was a high quality game against class opposition, and full credit to Wigan, they didn't give up, and we knew that they didn't give you anything. So we knew that we're going to have to be in the game till the end. We were, unfortunately, we fell short, but certainly there's a lot of positives to take out. But I do think that we've still got some improvement. There's no doubt about that.
Having watched it back, why do you think the side struggled to cope when they went down to 12 men?
Oh, you look at the class in the opposition. I think Wigan, if any team's down to 12 men, will hurt you more than most teams, more than any team. There's no doubt about that, because of the speed and the class that they've got in their team. But that shouldn't be a reason for us to let in 4 tries. Like we need to be better there. We know that. But when you've got Field and French in your team, and then the finishers of their wingers, which they've got quality across the park. That they can hurt you if you just take a breath. Like we took a breath on an occasion there when Bevan put the kick in. Did we get back hard enough from a tackle to get back and join the line and then get our spacing right? There's certain things that we didn't do because we just took a breath, and you can't do that against Wigan. 13v13, especially when you're down to 12.
Something that you said in the post-match that you did with us was that you thought the game had a semi-final feel in terms of the energy and the atmosphere of it. Do you think having that sort of occasion will benefit your team when you get to those playoffs in a couple of weeks, that they've experienced that sort of atmosphere only a couple of weeks before?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, we've had a run in against all quality opposition, and we've got that to finish the next two games. So for us, every game's going to be of high intensity. So I think that's a good thing going into the finals. Yeah, it's when you're playing at that level and of intensity, it's you need to obviously monitor your week and make sure your loads are exactly where you need to be. So players can spike again on the weekend, and we'll certainly look to do that. But yeah, I have no doubt that it certainly will help us for the back end, because we know and understand now what that level needs to be about. We weren't in the Challenge Cup. We didn't, we were beaten in the first 20 minutes of that game. Where this game will certainly in the fight till right at the end, and as I say, we learn a lot from that.
Do you think it was also a sign that your squad's becoming more used to and more adapted to those really high pressure games, given that was such a close affair for the whole 80 minutes?
Yeah, I think with our squad now and our team now, in the past, I think they probably thought that you stay with KR for a certain period and then you get them in the back end, and it was we were a team that opposition teams we weren't probably looked at like the Wigans and St Helens and the Warringtons and teams like that, where now the players have earned the right to be where they are and be in the position that they are. So teams know now that it's going to be a difficult game and they've got to play well to beat it. So every game's tough when they play KR, and obviously whenever you play Wigan, it's always a tough game as well. As will Leigh this week. Leigh's a very good team, and they're full of confidence at the moment.
Something that I was talking to one of our commentators about a few weeks ago was this year your side's picked up what seems to be like quite a good resilience to defeat. Whereas last season we saw there were a few times where you lost maybe 3 or 4 games on the trot. This year I think most you've lost on the bounce is 2. Are you seeing more of a resilience to defeat in your side?
Yeah, I mean, you don't like to go 2 and 3 on the trot. We did have that at times last year. I think it was just where we're at. But then I have a look at the Challenge Cup and what we did off the back of that. We had 1 loss against St Helens, which was the following Friday. And then we went on a run of about 6, leading to the semi, beating Leigh here. And then, we weren't happy with the way we played against Wigan over there to bow out. But so I've seen a resilience in the team over the course of the past 2 years. We've certainly, where we've got a harder edge about us this year, and that comes with being together for a period of time. It's the second year that the majority of the team's been together. Players understand each other, and no one likes to lose 2 in a row. Well, no one likes to lose one game. So the players obviously work hard to make sure that they improve on the week before, and I think that's it's a quality that the players have got here is in terms of being able to make up for the week before. I think that's a strength of the team.
Something that stuck in my mind from when we spoke to Elliot Minchella a few weeks ago was that he said that regardless of the result of the week, they come into training with exactly the same sort of emotion and attitude on the Monday or the Tuesday, whenever it is.
Yeah.
So how do you find that balance between being really frustrated that you have lost and taking that defeat to heart, but also keeping that consistent emotion over the different games?
Yeah, what we'll always have is an honest review. We've had obviously a number of wins this year and far more wins than we have defeats, but we've still been honest with our approach. And I think that's what you need to be, whether you win or lose. And so we always have an honest review, but we also want to keep the mood as consistent as possible as well. So, naturally there was some disappointed players yesterday when we came back in, and rightly so. We got close to beating Wigan on their home ground, and we still could have been in the number 1 spot, but it's not meant to be. So we had to look at things. We're honest with our review again, and we move forward and look at Leigh. So that's been our approach, and that'll continue to be our approach to the end of the season.
Something which has been getting more and more of a spotlight over the last few weeks, something that you spoke about after the game on Friday as well, is the issue of gamesmanship in rugby league at the moment. Players staying down maybe when they're not as hurt to get the video ref to have a look. How much of an issue do you think it is in the sport at the moment?
Well, yeah, and in hindsight, like you look at it and go, okay, is it players? Are they taking it into their own hands because of they're allowed to do that, or things are getting missed, and then you've got this tool to go back to that they know if you watch it again that there's gonna be a penalty. So you could slow mo most tackles, and then there's a lot of tackles are going to be towards the head. So if players stay down, then and you watch that on slow motion, then more often than not it's going to be deemed as a high tackle. So look, it's above the players, it's above the coaches, it's the RFL that need to look at it. I was obviously said a bit around players staying down, that there are certain players staying down, and you tend to know the players that do consistently sort of stay down and the ones that don't. But again, it's above that. It's a decision that needs to be made by the RFL of what direction that we're going to go in, and then the officials will ref the game off the back of that. As I said, my sort of opinion on it is, referees have got a good understanding of a tackle and what a tackle should look like, what an illegal tackle looks like, what it doesn't look like, and a lot of the time they can make a decision live. We've got this tool that we go back to. As I said, if we're going to use that, do you use it every tackle? Then you're looking at it and you'll be finding penalties and reasons on most tackles. And the answer is no. So I think referees have got a good understanding, as I said, a feel of games, or when something's legal and something's illegal, and there's some accidents in games that happen, and penalise it. If it's intentional or needs to be looked at, then they might get a feel of the game or go, okay, no, that needs to be looked at. I want to have a look at it. So, they're only my thoughts on it. But players, naturally, if it doesn't get caught or seen, they're going to stay down. And then is it 10 minutes in the bin? A lot of them aren't. No. Is it a penalty? Absolutely. Should it be put on report? Or should they look at it later again? Yeah, possibly have a look at it later on. But, players, with the time on the floor and then having a look at the video ref and all that sort of stuff of these tackles, it takes away what the game's about. The game's about free flowing. You want to, everyone wants a nice fast game, and they want a physical game as well. And I just think at the times there we're slowing the game down and looking at things that the referees can see. And I'm not blaming the referees one bit here. They're just doing their job. I think it's something that needs to be made. A decision needs to be made above of what direction we want to go, and then everyone's clear on it. Because as I said, I think previously, there was some penalties, like you go, oh, he's gone here, he's going to be gone, and it was just a penalty, but it was an accident. You go, oh, that's good, that's great. Player got up, he was okay, which is the main thing, and then everyone just cracked on with the game, and it was a penalty. Then at times, if it was worse, then you can't hit someone around the head deliberately. There was one in the NRL that I looked at. That guy was on the floor, he's coming with a swinging arm. No, that's always for me is 10 minutes. But these ones where there's some late footwork and hits a defender next to you, and then comes back and hits the other guy whose shoulder makes contact to the head. There's no intention there. He's not intentionally trying to do that, and especially with the grounds over here being wet and a lot of the time, and players with good footwork, and you're going to have that accidental contact to the head. So it's something that we just need to keep looking at. And it's not the player's fault, it's not the referee's fault, it's just something that we need to get right as a game.
Just before we start talking about Leigh, one thing I picked up, looking at the statistics for most assists, Niall Evalds has picked up 20 this season. I think he's fifth in the ranking. Is that an aspect to his game that you think goes a bit unnoticed?
Not by us, maybe by others, but not by us. I mean, we've got a framework with our attack which gets Niall the ball and being more, more consistent with. So when he's getting his touches, that they're not just for the sake of it. There's a reason for it. I think at the start of the year he was sort of like playing on both sides of the ball and not getting the ball. Where now he plays a certain style and he seems to be getting the ball in the right times and nailing most opportunities. So certainly doesn't get unnoticed by us.
Let's look at Leigh then. 9 wins from their last 10, one of Super League's informed sides. What do you think has been behind that recent upturn for them?
Players back. There's no doubt about that. They had a lot of players missing, and it hurts. As much as some people don't want to hear it or they say it's nonsense. It's not. It's reality. When you've got your quality players missing. They had a number of quality players missing at the start of the year, and they still managed to be in a lot of games. Now they've got those players back, and they've gone on that run. So, I spoke to Adrian. I said to Adrian when I saw him over at one of the coaches' conferences, it's obviously difficult time for him at the time, and he hadn't had his team. They only just started to come back, and so we're under no illusions like what the game's going to be about on Friday. Leigh's been a quality team now the past 2 seasons since they've been back in the Super League, so it's no surprises to see them doing well.
Lachlan Lamb's obviously one of their danger men, but he's got the most assists in the competition at the moment with 24. He's averaging an assist per game. How do you go about limiting his ability?
It's similar to when you play French in field. At some stage, you want to win the ruck and control that, all that sort of stuff. Slowing that down to make sure that you're getting your numbers and spacing and all that sort of thing. But Lockie's he's a very good player, and at some stage he can hurt you. We just need to limit that. There's a plan around that which we won't go into, but obviously he's a quality player.
They've got, you can tell I spent last night looking at the stats page. They've got the third highest meters in the competition at the moment behind yourselves and Wire. What areas of their game and their team do you see those meters coming from?
Well, Charnley, obviously, he gets them started in the backfield. He likes to fight and play the ball, try and get that quick play of the ball for the guys coming off the back of him. But then Tom Amon and Robbie Mulhern, they're the two middles that get the ball in their hands a lot, and they're making a lot of meters for them. So a lot of it comes off that. But then you've got O'Donnell, who's playing in career best form, I think. He's obviously going back to the NRL, next year, but he's been quality the last couple of seasons over here, and he's playing extremely well. So they've got strike across the park, but guys that can run for a lot of meters. But Charnley sort of starts it in the backfield, and they're big middles off the back of that.
Of course, this is a hugely important game for both sides, but Leigh sitting in the playoffs by 1 point, Leeds are 1 point behind them in 7th. Given that they really need to win their next 2 games to guarantee a playoff spot, is that something you can exploit, that mental aspect of their play, given how prone they are to yellow cards as well?
To be honest, I haven't really thought about them too much of where they sit. We've got it. It's a massive game for us. It's a great opportunity for us. So that's how we're looking at this game. They'll have their motivations and looking at why they want to go out and win this game and how they're going to win the game. But that's what we focused on is us staying at the same levels as last week and improving in a few areas that we weren't great at, and then that'll give us a good opportunity again to be in the game in the back end.
That's everything from me, mate. I'll pass you on to the rest of the guys, and good luck on
Cheers.
Friday.
Thank you.
Hello, Willie.
Hey, Aaron Dam. How are you, mate?
Yeah, good, thank you. How are you?
Good.
First of all, I'd like to ask, please, about the whole discipline issue again. So, the involvement of the video ref and the number of cards that are happening, do you think there's a legitimate, serious concern about the impact on the spectacle that's having?
Oh, look, I think it's something for the fans to say that they're the ones, that are probably the best to ask. I've sort of had my say around it, mate. I don't want to go too much into it, but it does need fixing up. I said that before.
Okay, and just on the discipline of Rovers as a team, can you give your views on how pleased you are otherwise with how that's gone over the course of the season? Yeah,
I'm pleased. I think, I don't know in terms of yellow cards and red cards. I don't look at all that sort of stuff. We talk about discipline all the time. We've got a discipline group here. So, Jai's suspended this weekend for an accident of, ricocheting off someone else and his shoulder goes and makes head contact. It's not intentional. He's not illegally going out to hurt someone. James Batchel a couple of weeks ago was, again, similar sort of thing. He goes to try and stop a ball runner from, in case he shows and goes, and then it makes minimal contact with him and then goes on to his next job. He gets suspended for that. So there's things that, we're getting suspended for, which, we don't want, but it's not due to foul play or illegal play or anything like that. We can always tighten up and we can always be better. And that's what I do ask of the players, that we give, we have no yellow cards and no red cards and that type of thing, because we don't want to be a team to be playing with 12, because we know it hurts you like it hurt us last week, or it can hurt you.
Just looking at the England squad selection, well, it was good to see Jez being picked, 'cause obviously he's not had as many minutes as he would have done in the past, like the recent past. So that was the case again as well at Wigan, obviously. So what does that say about him? The fact he's still being picked by England when he's sort of having these cameos at the moment.
Yeah, I think Jez played a large stint of the first half of the year, and then obviously when he's come on, he's been playing extremely well. For us internally, Matty Parcell's playing very, very well. He's playing great as well. So, we've always said we've got two good hookers, and it just depends on the game and how the game's going. But if you have a look at some of the, we talk about certain actions that we want from our players, and Jez has come on in minimal minutes or less minutes than what he was playing, and he's won that a couple of weeks in a row. So it says a lot around, what he values and what we value as a team. But Sean Wayne's obviously, he knows Jez has played. He's played for England, but he's played at started with us and come off the bench, and Sean knows Wayne knows what he can do. So he's been playing long enough now. Everyone knows what he's capable of. It's just for us, whether he starts or comes off the interchange bench, we just want him consistent.
And you mentioned to us at the time of the last England score, or just after that James Batchelor was someone considered to be close to that. So what are your views on him just missing out, and how has he taken that news?
Yeah, Batch is Batch. He just gets on with it. But look, he's still in his mid-20s. I know that it'd be a goal of his. It is a goal of his to make that England team. So not to be at the moment, but I know what he does for us, and we love having him in our team. So if he just keeps improving the way he does, then it'll happen for him eventually.
There's another player I'd like to ask you about is Dean Hadley, with him reaching the milestone of that number of games. So can you just talk to us a bit about what he's been doing recently and the impact you think he's been having on Rovers?
Oh, he's someone obviously we speak about every week. For us, I think he's the unsung hero for us. And you like the way he goes about the week, prepares for the game, and then I have to pull him off the field at times, and he doesn't want to come off. He's a player that every other player wants to play with, and they love playing with Dino. He's very popular around the group, and he's been important to us this year, and he'll be important to us for the rest of the year.
Can you just go into a bit more about what makes other players want to play with him, like the qualities he's got on the pitch?
Yeah, he just does the things that some other players probably don't do, and he puts his head where some guys won't put their feet. He's just a tough man, and he's a hard worker, and he's a reliable person. He's a reliable player. If you get beat on the inside shoulder and you got Dean inside you, that he'll help you clean that up. If there's a line break made, he's going to be making sure that he's doing his best to get back and try and save a try and help the fullback and the wingers. Putting kick pressure on to help the back three, he's doing that. He's leading that. So there's all actions that we value, and he leads the way with that most of the time.
Great. And you mentioned to Leo earlier about teams now not getting Rovers at the back end of games. So can you just talk to us about how you've become a team that's managed to change that, and the fact that now you can compete for those sustained periods?
I think it's just the players working hard over 2 seasons. When we first started last year, we upped our training levels, and the players just bought into that, and they've trained hard for all season now. We started later this year because we made the finals, the semi-final last year. So we had to catch up, and the players worked hard, and they've carried that into the season. So, we're a team that works hard, and then the players obviously do it on the weekend. So it's just been down to working hard.
And in terms of immediate goals now, Willie, would you say the focus is very much on sort of securing a home semi-final, or is the League Leaders Shield something that's still worth sort of keeping in the back of your head?
No, it's going to Leigh this week, and then playing at the levels that we did last Friday and performing well, then hopefully winning that game. That's the goal.
Okay, and Leigh obviously coming into form, that must make them sort of difficult proposition to prepare for. So how have you been finding it getting ready for Leigh?
Yeah, again, when you've got a consistent approach to how you want to play, it doesn't matter who you play. We worry about ourselves majority of the time, and then we'll look at Leigh and look at teams, how they play, and how we're going to have a plan to stop what they're going to throw at us, and vice versa, how we're going to execute what we want to do. But again, it's mainly focused around us and the way we want to approach our game. So, we have consistent approach each week, and this week's been no different.
Just finally for me, Willie, it's been a big week that's just gone. with it being Wigan away. So can you just talk to us about the mood in the camp, like how it's been this week, sort of responding to that and looking ahead, like how you found it and how you managed it?
Yeah, naturally, when they first came back, it was still a disappointment there. To go so close against Wigan, a couple of things that we could have controlled better. So that was frustrating for the group, but you need to move on, which we did. We moved on yesterday, and our approach was how we wanted to play against Leigh, as I said before, and that's all it's been about now. Just our approach for this week, and players train well again today, and then we'll have a day off tomorrow. The players will have a day off tomorrow, and then ready for captain's run, and then into the game.
Thank you, Willie.
Cheers, thanks, mate.
Hi, Willie.
Hey, Willie.
All right. Gary here. You all right?
Hey guys, how are you, mate?
Yeah, good, thank you. Can I just ask one on Charlie's ban? Given what you said after the game, given what you've said since about it being an accident, was there a temptation to appeal the ban?
Look, I think, you'd like to appeal it, but I think that if you're looking at the ones previously, and did he make contact to the head, all that sort of stuff? Yeah, there was contact to the head. So, where do you go with it? Where do you go with it? I think Warrington a couple of weeks ago with Paul Vaughan's probably an example. It's going to happen. Unfortunately, it's going to happen. We're trying to get it out of our game, and players are working hard. Staff and coaches are working hard to minimise that. But, did he make contact to the head? Yeah, unfortunately he did. Was it an accident? Yeah, absolutely it was. But they won't take that on board.
Just on to the games going forward. Even though the result didn't go your way last week, I had confidence among the group grown that you can sort of do it in the finals. If you say play Wigan again, you can believe grown you can do it against them if you meet them again in future.
Yeah, obviously we'd worry about that. Hopefully we get to have another crack at them down the track. But yeah, the players certainly got a lot of confidence from that game. There's no doubt. I mean, that went down right to the end. We put ourselves in positions to win the game. There was a lot to like about what we did, but there's certainly some areas to fix up. So, if we had the complete performance, then you're going, we fell short, and they're too good. But it's we've got a game that we know we can match them. But Wigan's, in the position they're in and winning all the trophies and silverware they're winning because they give you nothing and they're never beaten. So it's a credit to them. But we'd certainly like to play them down the track, but we've got a lot of work to do before that.
And just a couple on James Batchel. I mean, we were meant to be talking to him afterwards, but from the sounds of it, he sounds like he's got a lot on at the minute.
Yeah, his partner's due, so yeah, hopefully he's got a new arrival in the next 24 hours.
It's a lot to balance, like keeping your mind on the job while you've got a lot of stuff, big news going on in your personal life as well.
Oh, mate, they're professionals, but it's massive. That's obviously number one. Family is number one to the players and needs to be. Rugby league second, and that's the case. We've always got things going on. There's in any work environment, staff are always going to have things happening. Players are always going to have things happening. It's always how you manage that. But naturally, for Batch at the moment, his priority, will be his newborn and Batch being Batch. When he's ready to come back, he'll be back. But he was in this morning, so we'll wait and see how that goes in the next 24, 48 hours.
And just lastly for me, in some ways, is it perhaps a good thing that people are moaning that he's not in the England squad because it shows you how well he's playing?
Sorry, mate, I missed that.
Is it a good thing that people are whinging and complaining that he's not in the England squad because it shows you how well he's playing for you?
Look, I think it's a good thing for England Rugby League. I think if players like Batch are missing out on that squad, that extended squad, I think it's a great thing for the game here and England Rugby League because Batch is a quality player. I know that he wouldn't let anyone down at that level, but there's some very good players there as well. Like the players that, like Junior December, a young kid, but he what he brings to a team, especially with the ball, he's going to be a player. Then they've got a good balance in the squad. The 17 that they pick is going to be a quality team. There's no doubt about that. So I think it says a lot about where the game's at over here at the moment. Unfortunate for Batch, but he'll just plug away. He'll work hard like he does, and as I said, I'm sure it'll be a goal of his in the near future. But if he keeps playing the way he is with us, he's earned his way into our leadership group. He's one of our leading players, so he's extremely valued here. And as I said, given the opportunity down the track, he'll I'm sure he won't let anyone down.
It's almost like he's a victim of circumstance because of the position he plays, isn't it?
Yeah, there's some good players in that position. But Batch can play in the middle. He can play 13. You can put him in like a prop position. We've done that as well. We can play back row. So, his time's it hasn't come yet. He needs to work hard and look where he's come from since he's been with us. Like his game's improved in a year and a half. So another year and a half, 2 years down the track, who knows? He'll improve again. So, hopefully his time will come.
Cheers, Willie. Thank you very much. Much appreciated.
Cheers, guys.
Hey, Willie.
James, how are you, mate? All right.
Yeah, good. Thank you. Just a couple from me, please. I know probably done Jay Whitbread incident stuff, but just in those circumstances, would you expect to see the player to go off for a HIA or the green card be issued?
Yeah, I think if the player's down for that long and then there's something there, then they probably need to go off. Whether it's a green card or as a HIA, but at the moment they can stay down. So that's what I'm saying. It's not, in hindsight, after Friday, it's not the players. The players, certain players will they know they stay down. They get tagged in the head. They're going to get a penalty or 10 minutes or whatever. Some players are legitimately injured, and it doesn't mean they're concussed. They just need some time. So it's just something that needs to be cleaned up, and then everyone's clear and understands what it is.
Could it be a deterrent if that happened in those circumstances where the injured player had to go off for either a green card or for a HIA?
Sorry, mate, I missed that.
Would it be a deterrent if the player in those circumstances had to go off either for a HIA or the green card?
Yeah, this is where obviously, I'll leave it to the guys above, mate. I just think, at the moment there's so much, there's different opinions in it all, and for me, as I say, I think it's a decision that needs to be made above it. It's just, I suppose, a little bit of frustration for me is that they have changed a little bit in terms of those things going to suspensions and when do players go off, when do they have to go off, when do they not? It's just a few things that I'm sure will get cleaned up later on in the season.
Defeats like that can be quite draining. You've obviously been on a demanding run too. Have you seen enough energy in the group since to convince you that they can go again? Yeah,
naturally we've had to change a few things this week. We haven't spent as much time in meetings and things like that. I think it's important that the players feel fresh going into this week's game. So we've had to change some certain things to freshen them up a little bit. So obviously, hopefully all that helps. But I see it as a positive when you're playing games like that towards the back end of the year, because from here on in, wherever we go and however far we go, they're all going to be tough games. We're playing against Leigh this week, who fighting for a fourth spot. Leeds next week potentially could be fighting to be in the finals, and then we play our final, or if we do well enough, then you get the week off. So every game's going to be tough from here on in.
I'm not trying to jinx you, but you mentioned the week off. Would you prefer that if it came to that? Do you think you need it as a group?
Oh, well, I mean, we'll see where we're at. I mean, everyone strives, aren't they? Everyone wants to play. Everyone wants, when you're in a position to finish first or second, everyone's striving for that. So if I said to you, no, I don't want that, then I'll be lying to you. Of course, we're in a position, we still potentially could get legally the Shield. We could finish second, or we could finish third. So it's in our hands, and it's up to us where we finish. Not so much first, because that's not in our hands, but certainly second, is in our hands at the moment. So we just need to concentrate on Friday, and if we're in a position that we go win that game and then and go win Leeds, then the players get a week off. If not, then you're playing a home semi-final.
Do you think it'll take 2 wins to nail a top 2 spot?
Yeah, I do. I think it'll take 2 wins. I think we need to go and win the next 2 games to finish second. you don't want to be relying on other teams and that sort of thing. Obviously, Warrington's got a decent run home with 2 games that they've got, and the for and against is not massive. So of course, looked into all that sort of stuff, and for us, it's we if we want to do anything in the competition, I think we need to go and win the next 2 games and show that we that we deserve a home semi-final. And if we don't, then we're playing at home, in that sudden death final, and then we play that extra game and we'll go from there. But Friday's the most important game for us, and we'll see where we're at after last week.
Lovely. Thank you very much, Willie. All the best, Friday.
Cheers, James.
Hi, Willie. All right.
Hey, mate. You all right?
Just got a quick one.
Yeah, it's all
Sorry.
good. No, fine.
Just wanted to ask about the fans. I know that obviously, I think you took 23 coaches to Wigan. Well, it was a silly number anyway. It was just like incredible support. And obviously, with the M62 was a bit of an issue coming back, I think, wasn't it? So you'll obviously need them again, taking you to Leigh where it'll be hostile and stuff. Just have you just got a word on how good the fans have been this year? I mean, obviously, winning helps a lot, but I think still, even in the loss, they'll come back and back on Friday, won't they?
Yeah, they're amazing, absolutely amazing. Like I've never seen anything like it, to be honest. Like we've got a fan base now. It's obviously growing. You start to get some results. So they're travelling with us where we go. I think there was nearly 3,000 people there, and I remember coming out when the players warmed up. I just look over and go, wow, that's pretty cool and special for the players. So we'll have another large group go over to Leigh. Like you said, it's a hostile crowd over there, but we certainly will be bringing a vocal crowd as well. And they've been with us on the journey so far, and hopefully we can turn last week around and make them proud again, because that's essentially what we, our initial goal was always around making our community and fan base proud. So the players do that every week. They did that last week. There's no doubt about that, and we'll go do that again this week. But love what they do and what they bring us.
Yeah, 100%. Good luck on Friday.
Cheers. Thank you.